Hey everybody, Kevin here from the My Song a Day Rock 2000 Day YouTube channel, and today we're going to be reviewing the 6th album from a metalcore band out of Phoenix, Arizona. This is our review of Monomania by The Word Alive. Okay, so before we get started, let me go through how this video is going to work. First, I'm going to give you a background on the band from their most previous release, so we're kind of all caught up. We're all kind of on the same page going forward. Then I'm going to review the album on 3 specific categories. The first is composition, construction, instrumentation of the songs. Second is vocal performance. Third is the meaning and the themes of the album and how that fits in with the styles of the songs. And then I'm going to give the album a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being the equivalent of breaking your leg and 10 being not breaking your leg, I guess. And then we'll summarize from there. But enough with that, shall we get it on?
Let's get it on!
So a little bit of background on The Word Alive. Their 5th release, Violent Noise, came out on May 4th, 2018. And taking a look at how it performed in the reviews, it was received with mixed reviews, where Already Heard gave it a 2.5 out of 5, saying that there were not many tracks on the album that really hit that like average, above average kind of sound. So it was pretty much flatline. Dead Press gave it an 8 out of 10, saying that they still found a violent sound in a little bit of a less violent arena. So they kind of had like a little bit, like still going crazy, but not too crazy kind of thing. And New Noise gave it a 4.5 out of 5, calling it big, brash, and just a lot of fun, seeing it as like The Word Alive 2.0. Looking at the charts, it ended up peaking at number 79 on the Billboard Top 200, so you can see kind of the success in the mixed reviews that The Word Alive got on Violent Noise. Now, when it comes to Monomania, the album was announced on January 10th, 2020 to come out on February 21st, 2020. And oddly enough, at the same time this album is going to be released, The Word Alive is on tour with Escape the Fate, who is fronted by Word Alive founder Craig Mabbitt, and Falling in Reverse as well. So I'm going to be seeing him the day after the album comes out, so I'm just like, this could be good, this could be bad, we'll see what happens, but let's get to the album, shall we? So now let's take a look at the construction, composition, instrumentation of Monomania by The Word Alive. And when I took a look at The Word Alive on this album, I thought they played it way too safe for what they're potentially able to do. And they ended up creating songs on the record that just really didn't stand out in anything, because I just think the things that they did on there really didn't work out overall, and they didn't stand out anyway. I don't want to say that they sounded bland, but at times they really did. And for a band to be considered really in that hard rock and metalcore genre, they really drive themselves away from that, end up with this like consistent standard rock sound that just ended up sounding a rather bland overall. And I listened to this multiple different times and trying to figure out the way the songs are constructed, and it just was consistent, just standard rock all the way through, very cookie cutter, and I just couldn't get away from it. Songs like Numb Love and Searching for Glory really stand out as those tracks. They're just like, they're the same as a lot of the songs you hear in standard rock music. There were also some instances on this album where the band ended up creating more of this like pop punk depressing kind of sound to it. And when I'm thinking pop punk depressing kind of sound, I'm thinking like Simple Plan, but actually on this one, I'm thinking more Mayday Parade, where they really had a lot of those influences on there as well. And don't get me wrong, those songs at times do work. They really do work well for Mayday Parade. However, with what The Word Alive went with on this one, I just don't think they really worked out well, because the instrumentation and how the overall vocals, which we'll get to in a little bit, how they meshed on this one, I didn't think they worked out at all. And looking at songs like Greatest Almost and I'm Sorry You're Sorry Now, I think they really tried to go for that more depressive pop punk Mayday Parade kind of sound, but it just didn't work out like what Mayday Parade can do with them. So Word Alive, what'd you guys do on this one? There were times in this album where I was listening to the instrumentation, the construction of the songs, and I did like what they went with, because it had a little bit more of that bite that The Word Alive is able to produce. But those times were few and far between, where the intensity was a little bit more up there, the drive a little more up there, and the emotion within the instrumentation was in there. Thank You is a great example of this. There were certain drum fills, and the fills to transitions on the song KF from verse to chorus were something that was really done well. And Death Is Only the End, if you think the story's about you, that was the last third of that song was fantastic. But overall, in the end, they went way too safe on the instrumentation with a standard rock sound. A lot of these songs sounded cookie cutter, and it's just something that I know The Word Alive can do a lot better with. This time they really didn't. Now we're going to jump into the vocal performance from Tyler Smith. And as I was listening to the album, when I went through the instrumentation, I was hoping that Tyler Smith and his vocals were going to end up, taking over, taking charge, and really taking that standard rock sound and really creating something with it with his vocals. And overall, as I was listening to it, I ended up being rather disappointed. The reason I was disappointed was because he stuck with the clean vocals for so much. And a lot of times when he stuck with those clean vocals, he was very, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to say stale, because he was very flat with it. He didn't really change up a lot in there. And it was something where it just kind of sounded bland. That's the best way to describe it, is bland. I don't know any other way to put it, because it was just the same over and over and over again. Now let's take a look at some of the examples where that flatlining vocals really didn't work. Take a look at a song like No Way Out. Tyler's vocals reminded me a lot of what Ali Sykes did on Amo by Bring Me the Horizon. However, the electronic influence on that song really didn't help out his vocals the way it helped out Ali's. Taking a look at songs like Greatest Almost and I'm Not Sorry, You're Sorry, when you're going with that Mayday Parade style, yes, you have that depressive, angsty kind of tone in there, but because it's so flatlined, you're really limiting the ability of the song to have that impact that Mayday Parade has been able to have with that kind of a style. When it flatlined, you're limiting its impact, and it just was something that didn't work out. There were times where I thought Tyler Smith did okay on his vocals as well and really showed some range and really put it out there. A song like Thank You, because he was mixing more clean and unclean in there, it had a lot more of a variation. His clean vocals had more range to them and drove a little bit more emotion overall, but it was just a small sample size from the whole album. And Death Is Only the End if you think you're the most, what was it? Death Is Only the End if you think that you're the most important part. God, I can never remember the name of the song. You guys are going to kill me for that one, but I really don't mind. But it was incredibly monotone throughout the whole entire thing for the first 2/3. But that last third, that was what I was hoping for, because you get a mixture of the great unclean, harsher clean vocals, more emotional clean vocals in there. And that's what I was hoping for. There was much more range, there's much more emotion in there, and it wasn't as flatline. But overall, I thought that Tyler Smith's vocals were very, very, very limited and flatline throughout this whole entire album. They just played it way, 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 way too safe. The times where they showed a little bit more range and depth and emotion, they ended up shining a little bit. However, it was incredibly flatline throughout most of the entire album. So I thought, you know what? I'm not a fan. So now we're going to take a look at the meaning and the themes from the album and how the styles of the songs really play off them. So Monomania, the word itself, title of the album, means in the dictionary, exaggerated or obsessive enthusiasm for or preoccupation with one thing. And the album really hits on those themes as well. And they follow suit with like how people and how their obsession can really take them over. Like obsession with your own fear, basically preventing you from living your life on a song like Another Year in the Shadows. Taking a look at giving your life to a cause and really seeing no return on it on a song like Searching for Glory. Obsession with past relationships on I'm Sorry, You're Not Sorry and Greatest Almost, along with selfishness on Death Is Only the End if you assume the story is about you. Overall, in the end, I think the themes fit along with, the meaning of the album when you go down to each individual themes of the songs. However, as they mix it with the styles of the songs, I can't stand it, because when you're looking at these themes, those themes could really mean a lot to people, especially when you're talking about obsession and you're going with more of that cookie cutter rock sound. It was just something that didn't mesh at all. And when I was thinking about it, I've gone through those times where I've been obsessed with something. There was one time I was obsessed with something that was literally going to end up killing me due to the fact that I couldn't stop thinking about it, and it was going to draw me down a path where I just wasn't going to be able to get out of it. And there's a lot of emotion involved in that, especially trying to break out of that, especially trying to get rid of that. And when you're trying to go with that generic rock sound throughout the whole entire thing, man, it just doesn't work well at all, because it doesn't match up with the emotion ever. Yes, they did try and bring up some of that more depressed emotion within the relationship side of things with those songs like Greatest Almost and I'm Not Sorry, You're Sorry, with that Mayday Parade kind of style. However, it didn't work out due to how bland the delivery ended up being. So overall, just the meanings and the themes, I liked how they went with it, but they didn't mesh up with the styling at all, because the styling of the album was rather bland. Okay, so my overall rating for Monomania by The Word Alive, here it is. I'm going to give Monomania by The Word Alive a 3 out of 10. So I'm giving Monomania a 3 out of 10. Let's take a look at what I liked about this album. There's not that much there, but I did like some of the instrumental fills in there. There are points where I'm like, you know what? They've got a good thing going on here. Take a look at like the consistent drumming that drives the beat and burning your world down. I really like that. And then the transitional fills of the instrumentation between the verse and the chorus in a song like KF, I thought was a great idea. And then the last third of Death Is Only the End, If You Think the Story Is About You, was what I was hoping for throughout the whole entire album, because you're mixing that metalcore style with the rock style that the whole entire album had. But when you're bringing that metalcore style, there's much more substance to it. Even the vocals had much more substance and range to them from Tyler Smith. And I thought, this is what I was hoping for throughout the whole entire album, but I only got it on that last third and of that song. And it's just like, okay, if that's all what I liked, what didn't I like? Alright, so what didn't I like about this album, and I've spoke about already, it was Tyler Smith's vocals, because even though they did stay incredibly clean throughout most of the album, one thing I couldn't stand about it was so flat. There was not much range going back and forth, and like I said, Death Is the End If You Think the Story Is About You, or Death Is Only the End If You Think the Story Is About You, that last third was perfect, but that first 2/3, he was so flat and consistent and never wavered anywhere in between. It was very limited what he could do, and Numb Love had more power behind it, but the vocals don't take charge of any of that, and they really don't make anything of it. I couldn't stand it, and the verdict was his vocals were way too monotone overall throughout the whole entire album. And they went with way too much depressive instrumentation, like a Mayday Parade kind of sound, because the melodies and how the mood of many of these songs, you know, they had that depressive sound to them as well, but they didn't attack it like how Mayday Parade attacks it, so it ended up leaving everything to feel rather bland and not really make it, I want to revisit these songs ever again. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, you're sorry, and then Greatest Almost. Those are the two that I'm just like, I don't really want to go back to these ever again. They're very limited to how I want to go back to them because of how the vocals put them in a box. Last thing I didn't like about this album was there was literally no bite to this album. What I mean by that is there is nothing in this album that really makes me want to revisit it. There's nothing in this album that really grabbed my attention. There's no song that really grabbed me and said, you need to keep listening to me. Every single song in this album was just kind of there. It was kind of bland. There's no bite to the whole entire thing, and it really just kind of brought me down. I thought, you know what? There's nothing really there. There's no bite like what they did back on a song like Misery from their 2017 single With It. Okay, so my final thought on Monomania by The Word Alive is this. Overall, I'm incredibly disappointed at this album. I was hoping for something a lot better. I was hoping for the bite that I know The Word Alive can really provide us. I was hoping that they were going to go with a little bit more of that metalcore rock sound, like Death Is Only the End If You Think the Story Is About You, especially in that last third of it. I was hoping they were going to go for that, but throughout most of this, they had a little bit more of a depressive tone. It was really flat, monotone, especially in the vocals, and this is an album that I thought, you know, if I'm going to end up listening to it again, it's going to probably be for something for a year-end award and not a good one. But that'll be it, because otherwise this album I think is going to get lost amongst time in the echelon. And I think their older work is going to be what really stands apart now. I'm curious to see what The Word Alive does following Monomania, but right now, I'm not too big on it. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you for watching the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day album review on Monomania by The Word Alive. If you like this video, give me the like. If you dislike it, give me the dislike. But put in the comments below if you like it, dislike it, and what your review of Monomania is so we can talk about it. Also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon, because you'll be notified when we release videos every single Wednesday, some special Monday ones, and anytime the podcast videos come out on Tuesday, and any special podcast videos as well. Just be notified anytime anything comes out. So make sure you do that. Let's get those out of here. And please follow us on our social media platforms. So follow us on Facebook. Anytime anything gets released, the 30-second song of the day preview, the YouTube videos, the podcast episodes, you'll be notified on Facebook. So go check it out and follow us there. Twitter. Follow us on Twitter because you're going to find out the same things as well. Plus, it's way easier to talk to us because that's what Twitter is built for. Instagram, that is our biggest platform. You get to listen to the 30-second song of the day preview. Our Instagram live streams go live every single Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central. We're on there for an hour. You can talk to me. We can have a great time with it. You can also watch our IGTV videos every single Tuesday. It's a behind-the-scenes video where you get to see where kind of like my ideas are for My Song of the Day, where we're going with it, and what's going to happen. We also love to talk to you guys on that. We ask you questions. We post on there. We post concerts on there. We do a lot of stuff on there for you guys. So go follow us on there. And on TikTok as well. We do some fun stuff there, but I'm not really doing much on TikTok right now. That's on me. Links in the description below to follow all this stuff. Let's get that out of here. Talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It is our very own podcast where we do a lot of things. But lately, one thing we've been doing with the podcast is we've been interviewing a lot of bands. They're going to be the bands that are going to be big, in the mid-2020s, late 2020s. So you're going to want to listen to that and get in on them early. We're going to be booking a lot of bands in the future. We have already a lot of bands lined up, so you're going to want to listen and see what we have to talk about with these guys. And, maybe you're going to find your next favorite band. Who knows? You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and you can watch the podcast interviews right here on YouTube on the My Song Day Rock 2008 YouTube page. So go follow and subscribe to all that. And last but not least, if you're not enabled to our Amazon Alexa skill, please do so, because that's where you can listen to the whole entire Song of the Day feature for that day. The Song of the Day feature, it is a fantastic way to rediscover all the old artists you used to love. Discover new artists that you're gonna love. Just get that appreciation for rock and metal music that you've been lacking in your life. And every single Saturday, we post a song from a small band. We call it Small Band Saturday. And that's your way to get and to start listening to the music of the bands. They're gonna be the big bands of tomorrow, along with the podcast as well. So please enable that. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. We'll have plenty more album reviews to come up in the next couple of months, and podcasters and everything. So get ready for that. Until then, this is Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2008 YouTube channel. This jacket is a little tight, but we're going to do the hat flip with it. Oh, no, but see ya!